I'm Daniel Guest, and welcome to the IMAGEN Golf podcast. This podcast is dedicated to help you get the swing in the game that you've always imagined. Today's episode is brought to you by IMAGEN Golf and PXG. You can go to our site, imagengolf.com, to see all of our offerings, including our free drills, our practice plans, our golf ebooks and videos. I actually have a hardcover book coming out at the end of February. That'll be up there as well. Or to book a lesson with me at our state-of-the-art studio right outside of Philadelphia, or virtually through our anywhere in the world through our partner, thegolfliveapp.com. We're doing more virtual lessons than ever. And you can sign up for our free tips and videos that go out once a week, every week, by simply dropping us your email. So I am back from the PGA show. It's been about a week and a half since the last podcast. Sorry about that, but just crazy busy. All good. The exciting thing to me about the PGA show was exactly the topic of our conversation today, or the podcast today, was high tech. I mean, everything was high tech at the show this year, more so than probably all the other shows combined. So with that, I procured, if you would, Jason Schneider from CaddieVision. And Jason, welcome.
Thank you.
And Jason has this product that I thought, actually did an article that got a bunch of nice little comments, if you would, in our local publication here, but about probably the best thing I saw, be candid, totally candid, at the PGA show, especially from a high-tech standpoint. These augmented reality, this is what I call them anyway. I'm sure, Jason, you'll correct me, but these augmented reality glasses, they were just absolutely off the charts. Jason, why don't you let's back up. You literally came up with this from an idea when you're on the golf course. Is that true?
Yeah, it's actually so I'm a self-taught six, and I had a day that was one of those days where I was playing to a plus. I was firing at pins, sucking it back, tapping it in. I was under a tree, number one handicap. I had to keep it under a limb and over another tree, and I holed out. It was an Eagle Net 1, right? And I was playing a money game, and it was a $90 shot for me and my partner. So it was fantastic, right? We're celebrating, we're belly bumping, and doing all the things you do when you have a great shot. And I remember sitting there going, "What am I doing today? What is different about today than the last week when I shot 82 and I couldn't keep it straight," right? And I thought, it's my setup. I'm keeping my head down. The two rules in golf: keep your head down and keep your effing head down, right? Those two rules were applying to me that day, and my setup was perfect. And I thought, what if I had a heads-up display or something that I could wear on my glasses that made me a Terminator and line me up for every club and put me into that spot? I mean, the ball was sitting down in the rough. It was 148 yards away. Normally it's my 9-iron, but something told me hit my 8 and play it up the back of my stance because it was sitting down. And I thought, well, what if I had something that would tell me to do that? Analyze, do the, put me into position and basically make it consistent for every time I'm over the ball. Because amateur golfers, they're not consistent. They get over the ball, they grab a club and they swing, and they're not positioning themselves for a 5-iron or a 9-iron or a pitching wedge, right? So that's how I came up with it. And 2 years later, here we are. And I got to go to the PGA show, which I've never gone before. My wildest dreams. My little badge says, golf industry professional. Come on, right?
Imagine that, right?
Yeah, imagine that. Yeah, I've got the CaddieVision, right? I had the vision for it, and that's how I got there.
So let's unpack that, because there's a lot there, right? Like, to your point, man, every single golfer on the planet, you only have to play a couple rounds to have a better round than the next, right? So, and you're absolutely right. Like, most amateurs, they can't differentiate what happened. It's just like all the planets align, and some of us get out there, oh yeah, I think I got it now, and then only to be told, or the realization, next time when you go out and play, you don't got it. Just you had it going on that one day, right? So that's one thing.
Or for full 4 holes, right? And then you're back to normal.
Yeah, understood. So that's one thing to realize that and like say, hey, you know what? If I only, but then to bring it to fruition, like, tell us a little bit about your background, because that's a whole nother application, if you would. Like, I've had a million great ideas in my, like, I thought about Netflix way before Netflix. Right?
Yeah.
So, right. But tell me how you brought it to fruition.
So my background is tech marketing. I've had my own web development app building agency since 2007. I've done a lot of startups, but I've helped a lot of startups. I've been brought in to, I need to build an app for a workout device. I need a GPS tracking device for pets and kids, and helped with geofencing. And so I'm not a coder. I have coded, but I can visualize how that stuff needs to get together. And then I always have I got a guy, right? I got a guy that does this. I got a guy that does that. And I just
Yeah.
started going out to my team and said, I need an AR guy. And we need to figure out, can I get this done? And then as the thing progressed, and the first thing I did was the promo video. That promo video is a year and a half old. And I took that promo video and I went to my team and said, I need it to do this. I need to look as close to that as possible because it's graphical rendering, right? But the concept of what I want to do is that promo video. And I took that knowledge of how to do that promo video, completely unscripted, just like this is, right? How you do a podcast. They asked me questions. I went, and I can go, as you can tell, I can go.
Right.
But I put the team together and then got to a work, a proof of concept prototype with a big pair of glasses that I would never have filmed because nobody would use them. And now we're at an iteration that after 9 months, the tech has gone from my proof of concept. We're on a pair of glasses that weighed 190 grams, and now they're 80 grams, right? And they're wearable, and they do what I want them to do, and the tech is getting better, which goes on to our other subject down the line, is what the future of this is, right? And how much smaller they're getting and how much better they're getting and what we'll be able to do with them. And I know we'll talk about that later on in the segment, but that's how I got there. And then perseverance, right? It's staying with it. And I play golf in my sleep. I play golf when I'm meditating. And so this is, it's second nature.
Yeah, and one thing I noticed immediately when I first met you, man, is you're definitely passionate and you're into it and you definitely are genuine. You feel I get a sense immediately that you want to help golfers. You just don't want to make money. I mean, everyone wants to make money, but you want to
Yeah,
do
yeah.
it the right way, and that really resonates when you talk about your product.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I mean, I helped a buddy of mine who's a 21 handicap. We had the glasses, and I said, "Look, these glasses are going to help you line up, but what we're also going to teach you is when you get over that ball, have intent. Intend to swing it on the path you want to swing it on." He never broke 95. He shot an 84 that day just by intending to swing and doing that. And when he had a bad shot, I said, "What happened?" He said, "I didn't intend. I got over it and I just swung." And I said, "See, that's what we're trying to do here." And that gave me a great feeling to be able to help a friend of mine, pop your elbow in, you're doing this, and he hits a good shot and he looks at you. It's one of those things like, wow, that worked. That's a great feeling. I'm getting this from this. So yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
that's awesome. I mean, we live that every day, right? I mean, I this what 2 weeks ago I had 64 lessons in 1 week. This week I had 59, and when you say those numbers out loud to people, they're like, "Oh my God, that's a lot of hours." And I'm thinking to myself, "Well, look, man, when you love what you do, you never work a day in your life." That's an old adage, and it's true. I have feel the same way about teaching someone and that aha moment that we see in a student all the time, and it changes their game forever. So, well, let's get into the product, right? So, AR glasses, that means a lot, right?
Yeah,
Why
yeah.
don't you tell people there's different modes. There's no one better than you talking about it. I could talk about it to all my friends, but I got you here. So, tell us about exactly what they do.
So let's start with augmented reality, right? So augmented reality is an overlay on what you're seeing. So it's not virtual reality where you're putting on a big fish tank and it's putting you somewhere else. You're just putting like a pair of glasses like you have on, and you're overlaying data. You're overlaying, the distance and the yardage. So in the top left of the screen, you have the hole you're on, you have the distance to the center. The top right, you have the mode that you're in. What shot mode does is it puts a little red crosshair, and there are the four positions, at least in the beginning that we're starting with, are the four positions: the low irons, mid irons, hybrids, woods, and your driver. And that crosshair goes up at a diagonal in different placings so that you're always placing it in your stance. And I have a guide for your stance that as that club position changes, your stance changes so that you're widening your stance, so you're having that stronger base that they teach, right? Now, you'll be able to update that and adjust that when as you progress. But the beauty of this is people don't understand how much their heads move over the ball. I know for myself, when I'm keeping my head over the ball, I'm hitting good shots, right? What's that thing? If you look up, what happens? You see a horrible shot, right? Well, you put the crosshair over the ball. You accept the club that it's suggesting based on the yardage. That's the Caddy AI part, right? It knows your yardage. You build your profile, your stock yardages. So your 7-iron, you line up for your 7-iron. You put that crosshair over the ball, which ideally is that best position for that club, and you lock it in, and it turns green. If you sway to get into that shot, it's going to buzz at you, and it's going to bring you, it's going to go, whoa, whoa, I moved my head, right? And there's thresholds. Like right now, the demo threshold, I don't think Tiger could get it to stay green. I mean, their heads are like this, right? I've got it set so when I'm giving that demo, I want people to really understand how much their heads move, right? When they're over of the ball. So we call that ball lock. So it locks you in. It gives you that bit, that visual and audible feedback for your golf swing. I have rangefinder mode, so you triple tap the side and it puts it into rangefinder mode, and it gives you the bunkers and the hazards on that hole when you're facing down the fairway towards the hole. If you're not, there's a little arrow that'll guide you back. But who's not going to be facing the right direction on the hole, right?
Yeah. So let me stop you there for a second.
Yeah.
When I saw a bunch of people trying it at the PGA show, one thing I noticed immediately, like, I don't know that I'm a believer on the head movement kind of thing as like a huge determining factor of a great or not great shot. I think as long as it's consistent, like if your head moves a little bit, but it consistently moves that same amount, I had no issue with that. But what I did notice, to your point, is the second people stopped moving their head and started focusing on it, their posture got better. And they will absolutely hit a better shot with better posture. It doesn't matter what you believe in. If you're in a better posture, golf posture for that matter, you're going to hit a better shot. So, and that was just standing from afar watching it. It does all. The other thing I liked about it is, and you guys kind of talk about this in some of your marketing stuff, but it definitely looked like it relieved some anxiety, or it relieved stress, for lack of a better. Like there's something about another data set that kind of that says, hey, you're doing this correctly, that just seemed to put people at ease. Do you find that to be true?
Absolutely. I mean, even from the standpoint of, so my wife is she's an amateur golfer. She plays with me once every 2 or 3 months. She hits a little flat bullet, off the tee, pretty straight, but she averages, 130, 140 off the tee. When we put these glasses on her and she was focusing on the ball and that posture piece, the first time I put the glasses on her, it just put her into position. Her first swing with no warm-up, she hit it 185. Nice high cut. Because she was focused on it, made her think and take away some of that pressure of where should I be looking and how should I be looking. And to your point about the head movement, I have it set to extra super pro, but there's going to be a slider that you'll be able to dial in that'll give you your normal head movement, so that it's not buzzing at you if you sneeze or you breathe, right? You can, and then you can train yourself on your head movement. Maybe I want to get to that intermediate, or maybe I want to get to that advanced or I want to see how tight that advanced is. So we have those thresholds you can build in. So to your point, and you are right, when they start focusing on their head, their back straighten a little bit more and they're not as hunched over, and exactly right.
Yeah, everything just seemed to lock in, man. And again, that was from afar. I wasn't even in instructor mode. I guess I'm always in instructor mode, but you get the point. Like I wasn't analyzing anybody. I was just waiting in line and just watching people, man. And it was pretty amazing. I think the other thing that I noticed immediately was I was expecting them to be way, way, way bigger, way bigger. And I don't know. And you and I talked before the show, and 190 grams. I don't even know what that means. But I was expecting like these big clunky George or Drew Carey style glasses, and I would have been okay with that if they delivered, right? But
I'll show
they
you
weren't that at all.
I'll show you what that means, right? Look at the difference.
Yeah. Yeah.
These
Interesting.
Look at the stems on these, right? Big and fat and look at this, right? So
Yeah.
it's a big difference. Um, and but with these on your head, I mean, our heads are 25, 30 pounds, some people bigger than others. But once you put these on, you can't really tell they're there. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
like you're going to get weighed down.
Yeah, and you got some attachments or accessories, I'd call them, maybe, right? Like you have a like a
Yeah.
reader version or overlay or something, and you have definitely a sun version as well.
I have these that go over the front of them. We have the ability to put prescription, but only for nearsightedness. I can't do
Right.
anything for farsightedness at this point. We could get those in polarized. I am going to probably suggest to everybody that they put these on the back of them. Right? It's not a cheap product. It's not like you're buying the Walmart sunglasses, and if you happen to drop them off your head, it's a problem, right? Well, this just tightens it in and keeps it into position. It's just a safety thing.
Yeah, I like that.
But
I like that. One thing you said can't be understated. Going back to where you came up with the idea, you said you normally hit your 9 iron, but you decided to go with an 8 iron, right? I think that's what it was, right?
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so at the
I normally
time,
hit my 9 from that distance, but I decided to club up. Yeah, yeah.
all right, fair enough. All right. So at the time, you don't really think of that as that's a smart decision, right? But you don't think of that as a data-driven decision. It's not like you hit it with your rangefinder, if you would, and you're like, you know what? It's a little bit farther than I thought. That would be a data-derived decision or whatever, right? But to me, these types of product or this product in particular, it gives you data constantly. So you're making more data, more rational, more real type decisions than the emotional decision that most golfers, oh, I normally hit my 9 iron 150. I'll just step on it a little bit and I'll make it go 160, right? And we all know how that ends, right? Do you find that people are sensing the same thing that it helps them make better decisions?
Helps them make better decisions, absolutely. And you and I talked about this before, about one of the modes that I'm developing, because one of your videos talks about what club you should hit and where you should hit it depending upon the lie, right? And it was one of the first videos I saw of yours, and it went right to one of the things that I was developing. Is eventually I will have an AI shot mode that will analyze the lie of the ball and suggest a position, stance, and club based on the lie. So that there's even more data, analytics on how to do it, which was one of my main ideas, because I played it off the back of my stance. It was sitting down in the rough, could barely see the ball. And, I wanted more club, and I wanted to play it off the back of my stance to make sure I made good contact and had enough club to get it there. So yeah, absolutely. People do get more, when people have tools. I use this all the time, and sometimes I hate it, but it's almost like the placebo effect. Like, knowing that something's there to help me, I'll make better decisions, or I'll strike it better. And yeah, it's all great. I mean, the community's been great, and they're all feeling it. So yeah.
Yeah. So talk to us about there's a couple different modes, right? I think I counted at least four or five. You got a tournament mode, you got a range mode, you got a shot tracking mode. Talk to us about the different modes.
So rangefinder mode is just what we talked about earlier. It overlays the bunkers and front back center of the greens. Shot mode is, again, it puts you in the shot. It helps you select the club. Tournament mode is for when you're playing either in a sanctioned tournament, a USGA tournament, or a men's club tournament that doesn't allow any slope or any alignment tools. It basically turns off all the alignment features and just leaves on the GPS and club selection based on where you are, but none of the crosshair, the stance. Shot tracking is it's one of my favorite parts of this. And the idea of is, you get to the first tee, the system is it's 400 yards. It suggests your driver. You accept the driver. You hit the driver. You go to the fairway and you're 150 out. It says, this is your 8 iron. Do you accept? Yes. I now know how far you hit your driver and where you hit it. So I'm putting a little pin on the map and I'm going to give you that reporting. If you bomb a drive over what you put in your stock yardage, we're going to call that out and say, hey, do you want to post that on social media with reporting, right? And then at the end of the round, you post your score through one of my partners. It goes up to Jim. And from that point, I'm going to give you reports: fairways hit, fairways missed, greens and regulations. You're going to keep your score and how many putts you did. So, all the good reporting. So that's the shot tracking. And that's just kind of part of, how it goes. I have a telecaddy mode that I'm working on that ties into some of your virtual training, because you're on the range and you're having trouble. And you go into telecaddy mode and it reaches out to Daniel Guest, who's available in between his thing. He puts his glasses on and you can see through that person's hands and see his point of view, what he's doing. And he put your phone in the CaddieVision cradle and let me watch your swing from the side. I see you're
Yeah.
taking it side. So you can cast something to his glasses and give him a swing path. So that's a mode that's coming. And we're working on, heavily. So yeah, there's so many. And then the AI shot mode is just that mode that analyzes the lie. Lost ball mode
Yeah.
is something that,
Wait. Let me stop you there. Let me stop you there,
yeah.
because even before you went in on the piece about the live instruction, I the product could sell itself, right? I mean, that is enough to sell, right? And I could see any golfer, I mean any golfer, benefiting from these, right? Because even if you're a scratch golfer, right, and you're a 6, I'm a 7. So there are days where I just don't have it, man. And I will, if you told me, hey, I buy this thing here and you'll, pick up 7 strokes, here's my credit card, right? I am ready to
Right.
go.
Yeah.
So from that point, we're ready to go. I think the product stands on its own merit. But the stuff that you have in development, which you talked about, one of them, the live instruction, that's just another. You got the lost ball, you got a hero shot mode, you got the caddy AI mode, you telecat. I mean, so talk to us a little bit about some of these other things, and how easy is it to adapt? Will it cost more? Is it different levels? Tell us a little bit about that.
So we're working on, the pricing structure, and the telecaddy mode is absolutely going to be sort of a monthly, more than the regular monthly subscription. There's a cost of doing these things, right? I have to pull that GPS data from somewhere. So as soon as you step on the course, there's a cost. If you're on the range, so we have range mode, which is literally, it's the Fitbit model. You could have these glasses for free and hit them on the range as much as you want, right? Range mode is going to, put you in the different stances. You want to learn how to hit a cut. You want to learn how to hit a stinger. It'll put you into all those little positions to hit that. And you could hit that all day long, right? Hero shot mode is down the line. There's development, there's hardware stuff that needs to get into play, but it's basically analyzing. It's almost like a video game, right? I want to hit it here. What do I have to do to hit it here? And it analyzes, says, look, you have an 11% chance of getting it through those trees, right? Don't do it. Go that way, right? That's the hero shot mode in my mind. That's, down the line in development. I don't foresee those modes. The only mode that has kind of an upcharge is the telecaddy mode, because everybody has to, we have to take care of the development. We have to take care of the instructors, right? They have to get paid for that time. I don't have pricing on that yet. It'll probably be a monthly, an additional monthly subscription to be involved in telecaddy, and you'll get a certain amount of lessons, but you can tie into that instructor and you're now connected to him wherever he is, right?
Yeah, I love that, man. I mean, that's just a no. Obviously, from everything we do at Imagine revolves around instruction, but that's just a no brainer, right? I mean, last year we had our number 1 year as far as on course sessions. We play 9 holes, right? So we had 3 pros, and the 3 of us did more on course lessons than the previous 3 years combined, right?
Right.
And I think just having a professional there that, even though I'm a 7, my mind is more like a scratch golfer, right? Like I absolutely know more about the game and know more about how to correct someone's game to knock off strokes than I do to help myself shoot scratch, if that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
So I really, really see that as a huge benefit. And the hero shot thing really intrigues me because if you could put that on every shot, right? So it has the data on, what I normally hit my 9-iron, and I'm feeling good about my 9-iron. I look up to my upper left and it says, oh, it's 11% chance I'm going to hit this, right? Well, maybe I
Yeah,
should pick a different club then, So
yeah.
that would be really, really, really interesting. Do you see it down the road? Like, do you see it integrating with other? I would consider this a wearable technology, right? Do you see it with other wearables, like ever, like really analyzing a swing, or like you put a wristwatch on, or you have a CaddieVision 2 product or whatever? Where do you see this going?
One of my favorite statements is this thing's got legs, right? I'm in talks with various, from the PGA show and even before, with various companies that do swing analysis, and the idea behind all of it, and you can take this as it is, take it as face value. Imagine you've got these swing analyzing tools that you have to go back. You take 10 swings and you have to go analyze it on the app, right? You have to go back and replay and see what the AI told you your elbow's popping out or whatever. Well, imagine you don't have to get out of the shot. You take your shot and you just look on the glasses and it's telling you. Did you see there were the foot pads with the sensors?
Yeah, we
And
actually signed up for them.
okay, so talking to them about a heat map in the glasses, telling you which way you're leaning and get you into the proper weight distribution. But on your glasses, you don't have to go look at your app and see what you did in the shot. You can help prevent being in the bad spot by having a heat map in the glasses. The wearable part, I see it as a one-stop shop, integrating with sims, integrating with, the sims. Imagine you're swinging in the sims and you want to get your ball speed, club head speed, and you don't want to go, how many times can you look at the screen and you're like, I can't even read it, it's too far, right? Well,
Right.
we project that data on the glasses, right? I'm just giving you, you want to know what your last swing was and what your percentage was. So we're working on some ideas to integrate with everything, right? It'll be, you go to the app and where are you? I'm at Top Golf. I want to integrate Top Golf. Okay, drop down Top Golf, log in, blah blah blah, and now the data you're getting on the screen at Top Golf is now in the glasses. That's one of the things that I'm in. I'm a busy man. One of the things
Yeah.
that's one of the things that we're in talks to, because I see this as a one-stop shop. Wearable data as well, steps and not blood pressure, but heart rate, walking. I walk every time I can. In fact, I'm playing Torrey Pines South tomorrow, so I just charged
Oh,
up
I'm
my battery.
jealous.
Yeah, tournament conditions too. So I'm going to be playing a 6 and probably playing to a 19 tomorrow, because you get in that rough and forget it. I played it once after the Farmers, and yeah, no.
That's so
Pitch.
true, man. Well, first of all, have a great time there, and second of all, I love the way how many times you said "imagine." I don't think I've ever had anyone on the podcast say "imagine" so many times. So that's good news.
You need to say CaddieVision like 30 times.
You're right
You owe
about
me.
that, CaddieVision.
You owe me.
You're right about that. So, look, man, I think everything you said is close, right? I mean, there's nothing that you said that is like so esoteric or so out there that you can't believe, behind it, right? I mean, get some belief behind it. I totally agree with the idea that, look, this thing has legs. There's so many avenues that you can go with this CaddieVision, right? Just from the instruction piece alone, like if you had an instructor in your ear every time you hit a shot, you'd be a better golfer, right? And if you had some data-driven analytics, for lack of a better, we use that word way too much, but I get it. But if you had some data-driven analytics about your own game while you're applying that same game, not at the range, not in a sim, you're actually applying it on the
Real time.
on the course. Yeah, real time on the course you normally play, you'd be a better golfer. And look, who doesn't want to get better, right? I mean, it's always interesting to me when we look at tech. I'm doing air quotes, technology, right? Especially when it comes to equipment, all this new technology, all the latest, greatest, and all that. And handicaps haven't changed in about 26 years, right?
Mhm.
So that technology alone, whether it's ball technology, whether it's course technology or club tech, it's not getting the average golfer anywhere.
Mhm.
And I would make the argument that it's hurting them because they're spending more money, right? So,
Yeah.
but this CaddieVision thing really, really intrigued me, and I'm super excited. I'm super excited to have you on the podcast. Tell me, what is you're in production, early production now. When can people start to see it, and how do they get it?
So yeah, I'm in the final stages of the prototype. I am going to be shipping to the people that have pre-purchased sometime early May. Sometime in
Okay.
May is the first. I mean, I'm at close to 300 pre-sales right now in like 12 days. And it's fantastic. I had no expectations, but it's fantastic, the backing that I'm getting from that and the publicity and talking to guys like you. Imagine where I'll be later on, right? And yeah, no, it's fantastic. So May, and then I will continue to sell, but the first launch will probably be second quarter, and then we'll start to fulfill and start getting into retail sales and looking to get into some of the big boxes and looking to have them in pro shops for people to use and try, and then potentially work with pros that are at the country club level using it in instruction, and from there, I mean, again, sky's the limit with this. You said something that really piqued the average golfer, and in my mind, it is of course about getting better, but the better you are, the more fun you have. The more fun you have, the more times you want to play. And we have the bug. We play 17 holes and we're playing horribly, and we hit that one pure shot on 18, and we're like, I
Yeah.
can't wait to play again. And that's my tagline: chasing that perfect shot. Because every time you're standing over that ball, you are chasing that perfect shot. You want that feeling of hitting it pure, and what's going to help you get there is good instruction, from guys like you, and maybe some tools that I'll be giving them to help take some of the stress away, like you talked about, and make it more fun.
Yeah, you know what? One thing we didn't talk about that could really be a boom for you is it. I envision it speeding up play, right?
Yeah.
And that's a big win. I mean, you look at the PGA Tour today, and it's horrible. I don't know if these guys actually embrace it, but the amateur Joe round takes a long time. I live in an area northeast Philadelphia, or northeast part of the country out in Philadelphia, and on a sunny day, the courses are mobbed, right? And they only put 10, 12 minutes in between each cart. Before you know it, you got a 5, 6 hour round.
Yeah.
And you got a lost ball mode that we really didn't touch on a whole lot, that's in development. Imagine that, right? I mean, if
Right.
CaddieVision could just figure out that lost ball mode, and prevents Johnny from, or Jerry from looking for his ball for another 5, 10, 15 minutes, because it's either findable or it's not findable. Either way, it's going to speed up play. I mean, that alone would get the industry behind you 100%.
Uh, and the there I'm in works and thinking about a shot clock that's kind of ticking, that you can turn
Right.
on, so you kind of have an idea how long it's taking you, because who we all have that buddy that stands over the ball way too long, and when
Yeah,
you tell him, he's like, nah, I was fine. But if he were to turn this on and see, wow, it took me a minute a shot, right? Shouldn't take you a minute a shot, right? Not from address to to impact. So things like that you can turn on and off, and yeah, it potentially, I think it has the opportunity to speed up play. The lost ball mode, I mean, Johnny knows which tree it hit and which way it bounced, right? That's fantastic.
that's it.
And it
Yeah, that's it.
gives, yeah. I mean, how many times have you hit a ball 250 yards and you walk up to it and you're like, wait, was it that tree? Was it that tree? Which tree was it? I tend to not do that. If I hit a bad shot, I don't landmark from where I hit, right? And you should go, okay, it was the third tree on the right, and that way, but no, you walk up there because you're in a hurry, because you want to make sure your ball's not out, and you're like, wait, where is it? And so it's gonna, a lot, but there's some tech that needs to align with my idea. The tech is there, the concept is there. I need to get these glasses to be optimized in the camera, because it takes in account the camera. The camera has to be running, and the battery needs to be optimized. And so, but it's an AI, having AI look to see where was the last time you saw a ball in the air. And right. So there's there's some tech, but it's not. 3-4 years ago, this would have been science fiction, right? We would be talking about this like, hey, let's roll some dice and see if we get 18s and 20s, right? If it's going to come up like Dungeons and Dragons, right? But now it's reality. It's reality.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's funny you mentioned the landmarking piece. I gave a short stint, about a week, thinking I was going to play professional golf, and then only to realize I was a really good golfer, but not under lights, not under competition. Man, these guys are a whole nother level, right? And then on top of that, I never used to have to think about where my ball went. Right, it was either left or right of the fairway. I never really even worried about it. Right, and then I get into my late 30s, and all of a sudden I'm playing a lot of corporate golf, but I'm not that good anymore. Right. And, the ball's like drifting. I thought it was here, but I can't find it. So, that was the idea or the time frame in my golf career where I said, hey, look, I better pay attention to where that ball bounces, or, which tree was it close to your point. So that's too funny you bring that up. Hey, man, is there anything that you wish I asked you or that I didn't ask you or cover?
No, I think we're, I think we're all good. I appreciate the time, and I imagine this is going to be a great segment. There you go.
I know, CaddieVision, right? Well, look, Jason, thank you so much, man. I wouldn't have had we don't endorse, and I think I shared this with you when I first met you. I think we have, of all the products out there, we probably endorse maybe 2 or 3, maybe not even a handful, and this is one of them, man. It's an amazing product. It's an amazing product where it stands right now. And all you had to do is listen to the first 10 minutes of this call or so, and you realize it's got more than legs, man. It's going to go, and it's going to be a real deal. And I envision a day where, almost like a 3D movie, where you got everyone wearing these glasses. I envision a day where you go to the golf course and, a lot of people have these glasses on. And maybe I don't want to play against that guy. Maybe I want to play against a guy that doesn't have the glasses on.
No, no
doubt. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Absolutely right.
We'll get you
there. All right, brother.
And I could say on one thing that as the tech progresses, they're going to get smaller and smaller, and the screens will get bigger and bigger, meaning what you can see on them. So there's going to be a time when you might not even know they're wearing them. So
that's amazing.
It's fantastic.
Well, I look forward to having my own set, man, and getting out there. And look, let's have you back. After we've sold a bunch of them, after I played a bunch of rounds with them, and let's have you back. Let's talk about. I'm sure you'll have all kinds of updates and stuff like that.
Version 2, partners, everything. Yeah,
absolutely. All right. Well, listen, Jason, CaddieVision, check it out. CaddieVision.com. Is that correct?
It's CaddieVision.com. Yes.
CaddieVision.com. All right, excellent. Well, look, guys, that's all we have. Jason, thanks for being on the podcast. You can check us out on all the mediums, if you would. We're on all the directories, Spotify, iHeartRadio, all that stuff. And here's to getting you the game, the swing, and now the vision and augmented reality that you always imagined.